So we've been talking, of course, about the big breaking story from New York, the kind of charismatic left-wing candidate coming through there. But there's also a really important domestic story today on the curriculum. And look, this is the kind of story that really matters, and it's really important to cover properly because it impacts kids who are going through, shall we say, one of the biggest generational shifts to their employment that we're ever going to see with AI, right? So everything we thought we knew about what kids need to learn at school is kind of out the window. Lots to unpack with our next guest, the Education Secretary, Bridget Phillipson. It is great to have you on the programme. I want to get into the curriculum review very soon, but first, just to get your reaction to that breaking news we had overnight. Zohran Mamdani, New York mayor, he's a Democrat, he's a socialist, he's described himself as Donald Trump's worst nightmare. I mean, do you think you need to kind of take something out of his playbook over here?
Well, I'll congratulate him on his win. It's obviously up to people in New York to decide who they want to represent him. We'll fight our own election campaign in due course, but I wish him well. It's a wonderful job to have secured election to.
Do you like him? What do you think of his candidacy?
I'll be honest, I don't follow American politics especially closely. I've seen a bit of it online, but he's clearly fought a good campaign if he's managed to secure such support.
Do you really not follow it closely?
No, genuinely. I'll follow the big stories, but not especially.
I mean, some people might say this is quite a big story, though, right? He's the New York mayor.
No, it's a big story. I mean, I'll follow, the activities of the US government. I'll follow what President Trump has to say, but no, I've got. Yeah, as we'll probably come on to talk about. I've got quite a lot to be getting on with.
I got that. I think the thing that's interesting, and we will come to that, this is a guy who's, unashamedly left-wing, right? He's talked about wealth taxes, he's not afraid to ruffle a few feathers, and he's pulled off this big victory. Do you think there are parallels with the Green Party under the leadership of Zach Polanski, who's done very, very well in the polls recently? And do you need to take that threat from the left more seriously?
I do think we need to understand and tell a story in terms of how we'll build that electoral coalition at the next general election. That involves making sure we're pitching to, voters who are looking to parties both to our right and to our left. I think what some of those parties have in common is that populism, really. Some of the kind of easy answers that sound quite appealing but are ultimately not especially compelling. And the Greens will always say, how important it is that we tackle climate change and invest in the future. But actually, where it comes to decisions here at home, they'll be the first to oppose, solar power, nuclear, wind farms, building a train line. It's one thing to kind of have a big argument. It's another thing to actually make the decisions and put in place the policies that will actually deliver what it is you claim to want to do.
Do you think we're seeing the same perhaps with Zohran Mamdani, those kind of easy answers then?
I'm not really sure about the analogies between the two, but I think, you do have to look to the Green Party's record at a local level, which is kind of talking green, but actually when it comes down to it, not actually being prepared to do what's necessary.
Right, let's talk the new curriculum, shall we? So this is the biggest overhaul for a decade. What's going on?
So what we're setting out today is the refreshed national curriculum. So it's been more than 10 years since the national curriculum was updated. In that time, an awful lot has changed. You mentioned the way that technology is changing the world, shaping lives, and it's essential that we prepare our young people for that future, a future that I want them to shape. And I think for me, that's about a really strong academic foundation, so reading, writing, and also a push on science. But alongside that, I think what parents want is their children to have a breadth and a richness in terms of what they can study. So the importance of creative and vocational subjects alongside that. And also our young people being really discerning citizens, people who can question and challenge what's in front of them and be well prepared for what comes next.
A lot of these things sound really good on paper, and I think most people would agree with the changes. But what I'm interested in is how easy this is to deliver. I've just been talking to our education reporter, Anjum Peerbach, as a former teacher herself, and she's saying, yeah, it's great to talk about AI, it's great to talk about all these, individual sciences, but where are the science teachers, right? We can talk about all these things, but we've got to have the teachers who know how to spot disinformation talking to the primary school teachers, or who can teach the new AI qualification. What are you going to do on that?
No, I do acknowledge that how we implement this is almost just as important as the refreshed national curriculum and how we deliver it. So to take the example around science, I want more young people to have the chance to study triple science at GCSE. At the moment, some young people from disadvantaged backgrounds and in certain parts of the country don't have that opportunity. Now, you're right, that does mean we've got to make sure we've got well-trained and well-supported science teachers. The numbers this year, actually, are really encouraging. We've seen a big increase in people coming forward to train in subjects like physics and we're also doing more to upskill some of the existing teachers.
There's shortages, aren't there? Right? You acknowledge that. There's a really critical shortage in the number of people going into train as teachers.
And we're making progress on that, and we've got 2,300 more teachers this year compared to last. But I would just say on the implementation, we don't want to rush this, we want to get it right. So the programmes of study will be out for consultation by 2027 and the national curriculum will be taught by 2020. I do think we should have a core entitlement for all young people that wherever you are, you get a great education.
I haven't spoken to you since you lost the deputy leadership. How are you feeling about it?
I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed every minute, and I really mean that. Naturally, disappointed not to win. You don't stand in the contest unless you want to win it. But I do want to congratulate Lucy. I know she'll do a great job.
I did something a little bit cheeky before this interview, and I hope you'll forgive me, because I asked ChatGPT, thinking about the kind of AI things, what your answer would be to this. And it's quite similar. You said you were disappointed not to win, you congratulate the new leader, you keep working hard in government. What's the real answer? You must be, how disappointed were you?
I mean, of course I was disappointed. You don't stand in a contest like that unless you want to win it. But I learnt a lot in that contest. I travelled the length and breadth of the country, met many of our amazing members.
Have you had a glass of wine with Lucy Powell since?
I haven't. No, I've seen her at a Parliamentary Labour Party meeting, but I haven't caught up with her. But the thing I took away from it, from all of that contest, from the conversations I had, was that we do have a chance as a government to really tell a good story about what we're delivering. And actually today, this was a key manifesto commitment, delivering a revitalised curriculum for our young people, and we're delivering it.
There's one other thing that I just want to ask you about very quickly, which is the Charlie Mayfield review. So this is the former John Lewis chairman. He's did a big review into sickness benefit in particular, the number of people off sick. And he's basically said that we're a complete outlier and that our welfare bill is the highest in the G7 when it comes to this. What's your reaction to it?
So we're really grateful to Charlie Mayfield for all the work he's done on this. He's got a really strong track record in terms of what he's done himself, and that's why we asked him to lead the review. I think what he identifies is that, yes, there is a role for government in how we make sure we've got a system that supports people. Skills is a critical part of that for young people and for adults who want to get back into work, but the crucial role of employers in supporting people with disabilities as well.
OK, always good to have you on the programme. Thank you very much indeed, Bridget Phillipson there, speaking about the new curriculum review.